Hello everybody again, and welcome back to my second vlog. First of all, I just wanted to say a massive thank you to everybody that liked, shared, commented on my first vlog post. Like I said on it before, I was really nervous, but yeah, I'm so glad that I did it, and the response that I've had has been lovely. So thank you all so much, and hopefully you'll keep enjoying my next few vlogs. Before I start, I just wanted to say a quick shout out and dedication of this vlog to Sophie Brown. You are a little ray of sunshine, you are great. I love our little chats and all of your support, so thanks very much, and yeah, this one's for you. So basically today I'm just going to talk you through my journey so far, really. Back to the start, not the complete start. I first started playing badminton when I was around 6 or 7. I used to play short tennis and do lots of different sports with my family, and badminton was the one that I took to the most. I played for Warwickshire, my local county, from 9 years old, and then I got scouted for the England team as a junior at 12 years old, and yeah, kind of went through the whole age groups, but unfortunately at 18, so at the under-19 Six Nations, I dislocated my knee on court and tore my cruciate ligament, my ACL. I had to have my whole knee reconstructed. I've got 2 screws and a plate in there, so my mum likes to say it's bionic now. And yeah, touch wood, I've not had any issues with it since, but unfortunately that took me out for about a year. It was a tough road of rehabbing, but I had some great support through the English Institute of Sport in Birmingham at Alexander Stadium. And yeah, I had a great surgeon that took care of my knee, Andy Williams, and I've not had any issues with it since, so that's all good. However, badminton wise, it did mean though that it took me into, so at 18 years old I was going into my last year as a junior at under 19, so I missed quite a lot of that. Played a few of the last tournaments in under 19, but then I went into the big wide world of being a senior badminton player and competing on the world circuit. And yeah, that was pretty tough, but it was what I wanted to do. It was, you know, the route that I wanted to go down. And in Coventry, where I'm from, there wasn't many people for me to train with and compete with, so I decided to move to Leeds, where there was a Badminton England High Performance Centre at the time, and there was so many amazing players up there that, you know, I knew that I would get the sparring that I needed, and the coaching that I needed, so I moved my life up there. However, again, as life tends to throw at you, it didn't quite go to plan. Maybe about 6 months into a year, starting full-time training, and I fractured my foot, my left foot. So, of course, as you can imagine, you know, devastating. Also during this time, I then lost funding. So, you know, it was a difficult period. I didn't really understand at the time why that would happen. You know, how could you do this to a player that's just been injured? But it's the way it goes, you know. Unfortunately, sport funding, it is a business, and if you're not playing, you're not competing, you're not getting the results, then they can't fund you. So for me that was obviously devastating. I'd moved my life to go and play badminton full time, and with the ultimate goal of getting down into Milton Keynes, and then that suddenly was gone. So I thought, okay, I'm at Leeds, I can go to university. So with quite a bit of persuasion from various people, I decided to do a degree in sports event management. Started that in 2010. Looking back, I'm so glad that I did it. Not only because I then prolapsed a disc in sort of the end of 2010, start of 2011, which took me out for another year. It also gave me some great opportunities to meet people that, you know, I'm still friends with, and also get to go on various trips and opportunities that, you know, I may not have done if I wasn't at university. And obviously, you know, being injured, it also took my mind off not being able to compete and not being able to train and, you know, do the sport that I love and that I wanted to do. But thankfully, you know, I had, again, a great support team around me. I've been really lucky in the sense that when I've gone to these different places to train, I've always had such a great support network, whether it be from my coach, the strength and conditioning coaches, the physios, just the support network that, you know, that I had in Leeds was the best. And I'm a firm believer in, you know, you need a team around you. You can't do these things on your own. And, you know, I definitely wouldn't be where I am today without them. So yeah, so that's a huge thank you to those people, and they know who they are. So yeah, so that kind of takes us to 2012, where I managed to get back competing, believe it or not. It was a long slog once again, rehabbing my back. Yeah, so that following year, in 2013, I reached the finals of the Nationals, which was great. It kind of was a last resort, last ditch attempt at, you know, seeing whether I was good enough and seeing whether I should carry on or not. And I did say to myself, you know, if I don't get to the semis, at least the semis, then I'm probably going to call it quits, or I won't do it, you know, as a full-time athlete. I'll just play for fun. But thankfully I got to the finals, and that, you know, that cemented it in for me. Yeah, thankfully it paid off, because the following year I got myself back on funding, got myself back on the England team, and got my first cap at the Women's European Team Championships, which was amazing. It was a great feeling to know that, you know, everything that I'd been through over the last 4 years had finally been worth it and paid off. And getting back on the England team, getting my first senior England cap, that was top of the list. So to do that, I was really proud of myself. And also then it meant that I needed to leave Leeds and to join the national team in Milton Keynes. I didn't quite go as far as moving to Milton Keynes. I moved to Birmingham, which was, you know, a little bit closer to my hometown, a little bit closer to family, but also enough, it was somewhere where I could commute every day to Milton Keynes on the train, but also I'd just started a master's in Leeds, because I hadn't been accepted, you know, when I graduated in 2013, I hadn't got onto the national team then, so I still needed somewhere to train, and so Leeds were great enough to offer me a master's. So yeah, 2014 got my first England cap, moved to Birmingham, or 2015 moved to Birmingham, and yeah, it was great. It started a new chapter in life. I would like to say achieved a lot, not as much as I had hoped, but I guess that's, you know, you always want more as an athlete. But yeah, I've won the nationals. I've won 2 international titles. I got myself on Team GB. Unfortunately, I got removed from that because I didn't make the cut for Rio. I've made 2 World Championships, 2 Europeans. I've got numerous England caps, I think over 20 now. Bronze medal for Europeans, team events, silver team event medals. I've travelled the world, you know, over the last 3 years, been to China, Australia, America. It's been amazing. It's been, you know, some fantastic experiences that I wouldn't have necessarily achieved if I wasn't, or I wouldn't have done if I wasn't on the England squad. There's also been some pretty low times in there as well. My second World Championships, so my first World Championships was 2014 in Denmark. My second one in Indonesia, where unfortunately after competing I picked up a parasite, and I was, yeah, really poorly for like 3 months or so, which then obviously leading into the 2016 Olympics qualifying period for that, it just totally took me out of the race. But on the upside, I got myself back healthy, I got myself back competing. That obviously took us through to into 2016, where it's been a rocky road. We've had the disappointing news of funding from UK Sport to Badminton England, losing that. It's been really difficult, I think, for me personally, but for the whole badminton community. It's changed a lot of people's lives, but for me in particular, it has been really difficult. When we heard the news that UK Sport had pulled the funding for the next Olympic cycle for badminton, I was preparing myself not to be funded, just because you look at the amazing badminton players that Team England does have, and you think, okay, well, in the hierarchy and in the list of it, I'm a little bit lower down. Women's singles, we're not up there with the doubles events, and unfortunately, my world ranking, I reached 50 in the world, but it's dropped over the last year due to illness, injury, bike accidents, the lot, and it doesn't necessarily represent my standard right now, but it's how it is, what it is, and so I straight away started to prepare myself not to be funded. However, being England's #1 and proving my dedication, I thought and I hoped maybe I would get a little bit of support or funding from the national governing body, but unfortunately, as things go, I didn't, and it's a tough meeting to have with the performance director and the national coaches, and to sit there and to be told that unfortunately we've lost funding, and that also now means that we are no longer able to support or fund you. I think everything that you kind of, the doubts that you have as a player and the fears that you have of not achieving your dreams and not being able to continue, kind of all hit you, and all resurface a lot of emotions and a lot of worries and doubts, and for those that know me, I do worry a lot sometimes, but it's difficult, and I think it changed a lot of people's lives. For me as a singles player, I've been lucky enough to find somewhere else to train. I've been lucky enough to have such great sponsors and such an amazing family that are supporting me through this. And my move to London has been made, a lot easier, knowing that I'm going into a training centre now, and going to be training in Wimbledon, where they want us there and they're supporting us. There's lots of opportunities to grow and to progress. So in that sense, as hard as it has been over the last few months, I'm very lucky, and I'm very excited for the next chapter of my life down here in London. So yeah, I think, without rambling on too much, that is my journey so far. Looking into the future, we've got the European Individual Championships at the end of the month, that's the end of April, so I've got a good 3 weeks now to really get stuck into training in my new training centre in Wimbledon. We've also got Worlds in August, which is in sunny Glasgow, so I can't wait for that, because I'm hoping that I'm going to qualify, and going into that, get some good tournaments under my belt, get some good training in, and really push on in the world rankings. So yeah, there's lots of things to look forward to. So that's the journey so far, really, I guess. Hopefully I didn't waffle on too much, and it all makes sense, and you can kind of see where I've been and where I'm coming to, or where I'm going to, and yeah, any questions or comments, more than welcome. If there's any other suggestions, anything that you guys want to see, just let me know, and I hope you have a great week.